Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Growth Hackers Experiments overview. We're just now kicking off. Welcome. Growth Hackers Experiments was built and designed upon the testing and experimentation framework. We're all about driving better business results through these frameworks. So to achieve that, I'm going to show you how Growth Hackers Experiments covers the 5 main pillars of any successful growth plan. When you are in our page, you just click here on Try Experiments. If you're already logged into the platform, you'll land directly on the Ideas screen here. But I want to go back a little bit on the strategy, where we start talking about the strategy of a growth process. Before I do that, please, I want to let you feel free to ask here, ask any questions as I go, and I'll cover all of the questions right as they come, okay? So here on the dashboard, and the first question is from me actually, is my sound coming out okay for you? I think so, but please confirm. So here on the dashboard, we'll see a collection of the company's and the team's main objectives. You can populate all of these objectives right here also on the platform, starting by the North Star metric, and the North Star metric will show on your dashboard right here on the corner, on the right corner. If you have multiple projects here, you see this arrow and you can go through the different projects that you might have. For each one, you can set up a different dashboard, a different North Star metric, a different team. We can cover the setup right after this. Okay. For the setup of the North Star metric, that's the macro, the one single metric that covers all the departments and represents growth in both revenue and value provided by your product, your service. This helps growth teams break silos and move between different growth levers in the organization. Once you have a North Star metric settled, you can automatically update it through native integrations that we have here with behavioral data tools such as Mixpanel, Amplitude, and many others, or even a simple Google Sheet. Here you can, I'll click on change my North Star metric, but you can definitely create one directly here, and you can choose between different options or create a custom one. If you choose to create a custom one, you'll be able to populate with a short name, a metric, a description, and that will be also seen by all of your team members. You can choose a metric type, period for the metric to be measured, and you see a preview here before you create and click to customize. Once you create your North Star metric, the next step is to create objectives. They also work as real-time reporting tool, eventually becomes a blueprint of every action you have taken to achieve that objective. All of your KPIs, all of your learnings, you can add comments and more. And if you work with different squads, this is also a great way to separate the growth team with multiple responsibilities. Here you can see objectives that are either in progress, drafted ones, completed ones, and scheduled ones that have not started yet. Now back to the first screen that you see when you hop into Growth Hackers Experiments, the ideation screen here. On a more micro level of your KPIs are the tests, the experiments that you actually run and that will be executed, and they are defined here as your idea backlog, the repository of all of your experiments. Every test, I'll create one right now so you can see, every test will request a title as well as an objective it's associated with. Here I have a list of the pre-populated objectives. You can also associate an assignee. for this idea. Let's say I'm the one pitching the idea for my team, but I'm not the one who will be running this. So I will designate an assignee here for my team, as well as a due date, and very interestingly, an ICE score. ICE score is one of the prioritization frameworks you can use. You can definitely customize that if your team already runs experiments, already runs tests, and uses another prioritization framework. In the ICE score framework, we will quantify the impact we want to generate with this specific idea, how confident we are that this idea working will actually drive growth, will actually impact on the North Star metric, and how easy it is to actually push this idea into test. The more resources, the more people involved, the lower these, and the more freedom we have to run this idea by ourselves, or the less approval we need, the easier it gets. Here on the idea, there are other items also to populate. One of the most important ones is the description. Here's where you can actually even create a template of a description for your team. And in case you want to use the framework here that we use, you simply add what is the idea, the context behind it, how you run this idea, how you test it. In the hypothesis here, in this box, here is where you actually, you can also create a template for this, but here is where you actually explain to the team what data is behind this hypothesis, what do you expect to change once this test runs and is successful and causes impact, and what metric you'll be using to measure if that test actually worked or if it didn't work. You can also see through the metric you choose. Here is a goal if you want to set a different goal for this specific idea. You can tag the idea to organize it with others, and you can attach links. Once the idea is created, I'll show you an example here. You can actually also insert different related cards. So if you have other tests, other experiments related to this one, you can attach them here. You can also create subtasks for your team to go through step by step when they are testing this idea. You can integrate with different project management tools. You can add integrations to other product management tools. You can add comments, so on and on. The next step, and ideally, everyone in the company will be able to speak up, suggest growth ideas, regardless of their area, their level of seniority. And to achieve that, you can either give all of them access to GrowthHackers experiments and to your workspace, or you can even integrate external third-party apps like Google Forms, Slack, email accounts, and have people pitching in ideas from the outside, and you see them reflected here on your idea dashboard. On prioritization, that's something we do with the ideas, and we can easily filter them from newest, oldest, highest score, in case you want to use the ICE score for prioritization. The ones with the highest score will appear once you filter here. And there are so many more types of filters. You can only see ideas per growth level, if you will, ideas per certain users, assigned to certain users, the tags I mentioned before. You can organize the ideas here, etc., etc. So another interesting feature here on the sprints is you can do this prioritization as you run with your team, as you run a growth meeting. So you can actually run a growth meeting here after you have all of these collected ideas from your team. People can nominate their ideas by simply clicking. I will show you an example here with one of the ideas. When they click on this little star here, they're nominating an idea and they're sharing with the team, I want to talk about this idea with you on our next growth meeting. Another way to do that is clicking here on nominating on the card, and you can nominate easily, as you see. When you get to the point to run a growth meeting, I'll do that so you can see. You see on the growth meeting the main metrics and objectives, how they're performing. You can have like a quick view, share with the team, take notes, and all of the nominated ideas will show here on this dashboard, as well as your sprint. This sprint is a default one. You can customize a sprint with as many steps as you need. This one, the default one, will bring all of the ideas that are already discussed, and they are already on up next. And once we start testing, we can push them into in progress. Once we finish testing, we can push them to ready to analyze. And that's really interesting here. After we finish a test, we can add its results by inputting the conclusion and concluding with the bottom line, if the idea, the test, the experiment worked, if it didn't, or if it was inconclusive based on the data we tracked. And you can upload any files here. You can move this idea to learnings. Once this idea is moved to learnings, I'll show you in a minute how that goes. I'll just finish and go ahead and end this growth meeting, so you can see that by the end of a growth meeting, after you discuss all the ideas with your team, you update them on learnings, you update them on the metrics that are working or not working, you get a specific report. Here in this case, I see the summary. I can input notes. Once I go ahead and I end my meeting, everything that happened will be here, and I see everything that was, so no learnings added, or if I have learnings added, they will automatically appear here. I can export this meeting recap and share this report with my peers. I can share with them through email, even people that are not connected here on the software. Other topics that I would like to mention is that basically all of these information, all of these push and pull of information that you get comes from the integrations. So before we go there, I'd like to talk a little bit about analytics. And every test analyzed during the growth meeting will start populating this knowledge base, the learnings I was mentioning before. This knowledge base will offer the same filters as you have seen in the idea backlog. This allows you to easily search through previous tests, find useful and important information. This will help the growth team in multiple ways, such as retaining information from your tests, avoiding rework of something that has been tested before, bringing new users up to speed. That's an interesting one. You can onboard people from on your team easily by sharing this screen here with them, and they can see what was already run as experiments, how they can implement new tests to help you grow. If you have different products or growth team, you can clone your learnings to a different workspace and help other growth teams achieve the same results based on something that has already been validated. That's really interesting. And to put all of these pieces together, we also offer a calendar view here. So you can see everything that happened on any day, any time, and a health score. This is the calendar view. Everything that happens on these on this project here can be seen. As you can see here, you can easily find everything that happened. And the health score I mentioned is this one. Here you can track more internal KPIs, your team's engagement. You can see learnings by growth level, weekly team participation, how many ideas suggested, how many tests started, learnings acquired, and who on your team is actually contributing to the growth process, or maybe you can even complement them and re-engage some other members that are not being part. And you see that for the past 4 weeks, past 8 weeks, and past 12 weeks as well. On the integrations, that's a common question on these sessions here. We have both pull and push integrations that are possible to be done. To enable them, on the push integrations, we allow you to effectively communicate with other areas of the organization. For example, when you need to use your product team resources and they are, let's say, using Jira here, you just send the idea card directly to their workspace by connecting with Jira. On the pull side, we allow you to automatically populate the results of your experiments inside of a card. The example that I just mentioned, you can, for example, populate your idea backlog with a pull from Google Sheets. You can also, if you're running A/B tests on, let's say, Google Optimize or Optimizely, you can easily and simply select the event that best represents your experiment, and we will bring the data from the control and the variant. So that's all I had prepared for today, and I would love to hear and read your questions here. One of the questions I've received is that if it is possible to populate the idea backlog with ideas previously collected on a spreadsheet, and the answer to that, a short answer, is yes. It is really easy to do so. You can, here on the preferences, you see options to easily pull data, change your card template, as well as import, as you see here, CSVs. So you can import this information. We share a template with you if you want to customize the current spreadsheet you're using, and you can easily import here, and all of the ideas will be pre-populated for you. Another question related to that is if it's possible to export the ideas, even the ones you don't want to use, but you want for some reason to export. That's also easily done here. It's on a different screen, as you see, not on preferences, but on your idea dashboard. You can click here on export and do that. Other questions coming in. In the beginning, you talked about 5 pillars of test and learn. What are they? How is this platform capitalizing on it? It's a great question. The 5 pillars, this comes from the Pirate Metrics framework, and it is, again, also customizable. As you see, the platform is very easily to customize. If your growth levers in your organization or growth levers in your organization or different ones, you can definitely change that on preferences. In this case here, by using the Parametrics framework, you can easily understand if the idea you're suggesting is impacting your acquisition, the way you connect with potential users, where they are, or activation, how you actually help these users have a great first experience with your product or with your service. The referral lever is all about viral loops, how you help these current customers that you already have bring more customers, more users to you, as well as the retention lever. This one is all about users that are already there, keep using and expand their usage, as well as the revenue lever, where you can also experiment around expanding your expand on your software, expanding the spend, the lifetime value of the users, as well as decreasing the cost for user or customer acquisition, and many other examples, of course. So these are the 5 ones that I mentioned before. I know that many companies will use different frameworks, and you can customize that here on preferences. Another question here regards the difference between North Star metric and objective. Okay, that's a conceptual one, definitely. The North Star metric is the one metric, and it is an input metric. It is a leading indicator of growth that better represents how customers and users acquire value from your product, from your service. So one example that is a very famous one here for Airbnb, the North Star metric they have established is the number of nights booked. So the number of nights booked on certain, across all of their accommodations will better represent how much value they are delivering to their users, to the end user, as well as the owners of properties that list their properties on Airbnb. So this is one example, but you want to come up with a North Star metric that better represents your business, the value you deliver to your customers. I haven't seen a similar, or maybe similar, yes, but not businesses, even the same industry, can definitely have different North Star metrics depending on how they deliver value to their customers. So you want to come up with customized one for you and at the same time understand that this number is a leading indicator of growth. If this number grows, you will grow on output metrics such as revenue, number of customers, number of users, etc. On the objectives, here we actually populate with the goals that have a specific number behind them, a specific KPI, and a specific dates to be accomplished. And these objectives will move the North Star metric. So one example, again, going back to Airbnb, if their North Star metric is the number of nights booked, one goal could be have at least 3 million bookings by the end of 2021. This is an objective that could be added here. Hopefully, I explained the difference. And Jordana here, thank you, Jordana, is sharing a little bit more information on what is a North Star metric. Any other question? Okay, thank you too. Hopefully you saw what you wanted from North Star metric, objectives, ideas, and everything the Growth Hackers experiments can provide you. Please let our team know if you have any further questions. I will share my email here. Happy to answer any follow-up questions anytime, okay? Have a great one, everyone. See you soon. We'll be sharing this recording with you as well. Bye-bye.